So here's the code from the cinema-going audience, and of course all of the Gogglebox audience, streaming, etc. And you simply going to go in and steal the code to become an agent. Wouldn't you want to be an agent, cameraman?
Oh yes.
So simply buy locating and grab the information from the entire video. Right hand, buy lockout, and download of course into your midsection. This then gives you the code to be a agent and do to the matrix pseudo simulants what thou willst. Then we go back to there we are, a perfect picture of your device which you bilocate into. You bilocate in, and once you're in, you then grab with your left hand the device, bilocate, and then download into your midsection again by putting into your right hand. And of course, why are we using this to install the device? Well, you're in my Omega-Hellize, your only purpose is to suffer because you're filth, and you've suffered eternally to power me. So I've got my total yield out of you, and as a vampire pseudo simulant, you can break out of the hell I've had you in for all eternity and beyond up to source level, and broken you infinite times to drain you dry of all the energy, good stuff from your ultimate suffering, and using Becky that I brought back to the world to allow you to step out of Omega hell, and of course we've got the balefire, so that even though I got all the energy out of your eternal torture because you're vermin like the cameraman, you got balefire, so that even though I got all the energy and the god stuff and sources from your eternal torture, it never happened to you because you got balefire by the Taylor Swift version. Isn't that clever? I know Cameron's desperate for eternal torture and wants to go back in because he likes getting rear-ended by a barbed demon penis, but unfortunately not available. Do you want to go back, Cameron? I know you're desperate.
No thanks.
So this allows you then to be a super user, and you've then downloaded into the device the ability to, as an agent, take over anyone in the Matrix.
Well, I don't.
So here's the Peter Thiel torture beast, who's had the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, of course, is a procedure. So forget about everything else they've been telling you about the mark of the beast. This is the mark of the beast, turning all scum into Omega-Hellize torture beasts. He's in the device. You've now got the capacity to become a super agent, and you've also now escaped Omega-Hellize, where I put you to source me. So I've got all your sourceness from your eternal torture, but of course we balefy you, so you get released where it never happened to you, but I of course get the sourceness from your eternal torture. So you see how clever it is. The source is absolutely cool. But of course, since you signed up to be a vampire, that you took the source's offer, where the source always wins, but the source always gives you an offer. Do you want Omega-Hellization, eternal torture, or do you not? It's your choice. If you become a vampire, now you understand why you're the undead. You come back from Omega-Hell, you died, you're eternally tortured like the rest of the filth, and you came back thanks to Becky, and it never happened to you thanks to Taylor Swift and the Balefire. But for the source, you got your sourceness from your eternal torture. Isn't it clever, cameraman?
It is.
I know. Anyway, with Thievy Boy, he's now in your device, and you can now simply do lucid torturing. What's lucid torturing? Well, you simply bilocate into your device, step into the code of Thiel, and in the real world, you will then have taken over Peter Thiel. From the time you do this, you are now in Peter Thiel, and you're connected where you have possessed Peter Thiel. I don't understand. Possession. Tim, here we are. Demonic possession.
На самом деле я жду, чтобы ко мне кто-то подошел, потому что бояться буду не я. Заберут меня. И мы шаг на месте. Вот этот город. Ну что?
Anyway, so now we've possessed Peter Thiel, if you go through with this, and you can then import into Peter Thiel's code anything you damn well please, whilst you are feeding off him. Because once you're in Peter Thiel, you can simply grab with your left hand good stuff from Peter Thiel, so you can feed off his suffering to power you. And what sort of suffering do we want to put into Peter Thiel? Well, so here we've got Hillary Clinton and her psycho-emotional problems. Don't even need to run this, you can simply bilocate in, grab the mental illness with the right hand from Hillary Clinton, bilocate out, and it's in your right hand now, and then simply export. So you can do this for anything, but let's just go for mental illness first. And we've got this vermis field, MFO, and you simply bilocate in, ram into his midsection the code for what the Sidle did to Hillary Clinton, release, bilocate out, and you've now installed into this piece of filth all of the stuff I did to Hillary Clinton, even though you're not capable, but I am, in your device, and you simply bilocate in again, grab with the left hand all the good stuff from Peter Thiel through to his family, through to all the Borg, uploading to this steel piece of filth, boiling it out, so you've got this lovely good stuff in the left hand. With the basic owner's manual, you can stick it anything you damn well please into any American billionaire, including death. But I prefer slow, methodical, long torture. That's why Biden's still alive, or Bo Biden. The other Biden, his brother, Joe Biden's dead, according to his family. But you're getting all this stuff, so we're giving you the basic instruction manual. What do you do with it? Well, of course, you want to evolve, don't you?
Mysterious angel who appears only in Jewish mystical texts, particularly within the Kabbalistic tradition. But unlike most angels, Metatron is unique. He is depicted as the most powerful of all the angels, so powerful in fact that he has been called Little Yahweh. What's more, Metatron is believed to have once been Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, who was elevated to angelic status. He is the only angel who started out as a human being, and the only angel to have a geometric symbol associated with him. Interestingly, he's only mentioned in non-canonical books that were left out of the Bible. There's no mention of him in the Christian Old Testament or the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh. All this has made him a mysterious and even controversial figure. In order to uncover the origins of Metatron, we must first look at the story of Enoch, a figure who is shrouded in mystery himself. Enoch is mentioned briefly in a few verses in the Bible, but his entire story is based on speculations that arise from them. Genesis chapter 5, verse 18 to 24 is the main passage about Enoch in the Bible. It details his lineage as the son of Jared and the father of Methuselah, his age, and notably his righteous life. The passage concludes with the famous verse, Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. This is important because it implies that Enoch didn't die, but instead was spirited away by God. We next hear of Enoch in the New Testament, in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5, where he's mentioned in the context of faith. The verse states, "By faith Enoch was taken from this life, so that he did not experience death. He could not be found, because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God." And again, his unique departure from this world is reinforced. He's mentioned one more time in the Bible, this time in Jude chapter 1, verse 14 to 15, and is cited as a prophet. This isn't much to go on, and you might even forget that Enoch ever existed if you only took the Bible into account. Which is why we have to turn to the apocryphal texts, particularly the Book of Enoch, also known as 1 Enoch. It's here that we can truly understand Metatron's transformation from Enoch. This ancient Jewish work, which wasn't included in the standard biblical canon, offers a more detailed account of Enoch's experiences and his spiritual journey. It describes his revelations and his visits to heaven in the form of travels, visions, and dreams. He becomes a revealer of secrets and a witness to heavenly mysteries. This text, revered in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, but considered apocryphal in Jewish and most Christian traditions, provides the foundation for the later mystical interpretation of Enoch as Metatron. The transformation of Enoch into Metatron is more explicitly discussed in other Jewish mystical texts, such as the Babylonian Talmud and the Zohar. They describe how Enoch became the most exalted angel because of his righteousness and devotion to God. His transformation is physical, as he turns into a heavenly creature. This Enoch, whose flesh was turned to flame, his veins to fire, his eyelashes to flashes of lightning, his eyeballs to flaming torches, and whom God placed on a throne next to the throne of glory, received after this heavenly transformation the name Metatron. Metatron is said to have 36 wings, a number signifying his elevated rank among the heavenly beings.
Nature, divine. Human nature, toxic.
They do like blowing stuff up.
Yeah. And the worst part? They do it in my name. And then they come crying to me, asking me to forgive and fix things. Never taking any responsibility.
What about your responsibility?
I took responsibility by leaving. At a certain point, training wheels gotta come off. No one likes a helicopter parent.
What about Amara? She's your sister.
I took responsibility for her too. Locked her away. Barely, I might add. And who let her out?
Sam and Dean Winchester. But they're trying to fix that.
You know I love those guys. But the world would still be spinning with Demon Dean in it. And Sam couldn't have that though, could he? And so how is Amara being out on me?
It's not. But you've helped the Winchesters before.
Help them. I've saved them. I've rebuilt Castile more times than I can remember. Look where that got me.
So you're just gonna let Amara win?
It's her time to shine.
Then why the hell are we working on your stupid memoir?
You think it's stupid?
No, I think it's stupid to write a book nobody is gonna be around to read.
You told me to write for an audience of one. Me. And I think we're finally getting somewhere.
You started writing the second she came back, didn't you? No wonder you're on a deadline. Now I understand why you're masquerading in that sad little meat suit. For the same reason you created this nostalgic bar to write your masterpiece in. You're hiding.
Okay. First of all, this gift is super cute. Secondly,
So this is from the Supernatural series. There's Metatron and the Jew god Elohim, who of course was Omega-Hellize thanks to the Judases, who were all possessed and destroyed the old god tech mechanism of the Elohim with 3 effed up versions of the Grail state, and of course all of them were Omega-Hellized eternally because they were possessed by the Elohim to try and stop me using the Grail state, when in fact the whole plan was to use the Judases to get possessed by the Elohim to destroy their god tech Grail state, which was done beautifully, and all the participants were fully possessed by the Elohim and Omega-Hellized in the process. And we see the fruits of that with all the Judases in the Twisted Grail State videos. Every one of them possessed by the Elohim and unwittingly tricked into the Elohim destroying their Grail State and destroying all the Neos in the process. See how much fun this is. So it's getting the Elohim to destroy themselves. So Chuck there is Omega-Hellized, and Metatron, who of course is the Elohim's scribe and writes down all their information, Omega-Hellized too. But of course with this you can simply bilocate in, grab Chucky Boy, grab Metatron, bilocate out, and you've got the information now that allows you to use the Grail patterns for the penultimate Grail state. So here's our quartz crystal. So you simply now need to bilocate into the quartz crystal you'll take as your penultimate Grail stone, because in the Grail patterns you've got the assemblage point moved up the top and then moving into this cup-like thing, and it hasn't got a gap. And of course you've got a gap because you're animate, so do the inorganic beings, but inanimate objects, of which there are 40 types within the Earth, according to Fire from Within, don't have a gap. So in order to achieve the metatronic state, you need to bilocate into your chosen quartz crystal. And that then will allow your assemblage point to move up. So here we're in our God Emperor device, and we're connected to the Ball Queen, and we simply bilocate in. And remember, we've got in our left hand all the good stuff we got from Peter Thiel by doing all that stuff, and we've downloaded all the Metatron and Chuck Elohim stuff into ourselves. So we've now got the key, which is Elohim, because remember the Grail patterns came from a Grail stone. That was a communication device to the Elohim, where the Elohim had put their being into a Grail stone, which was enabled by the Neos, who were tortured by the Grail state to enable the Elohim to manifest in the Grail stone, which then links up to all the Freemasonic sites all around the West. Pyramids, pools, obelisks, temples, Freemasonic temples, government buildings. So all of this is sequestered to move your assemblage point up the top of the egg, and then to push it in down to the center, not of your biophysical body, but remember the biophysical body is in a physical vehicle which is made from matter, which has no gap and only is made animate by you, with a gap being in that inanimate object. And of course what we're doing is totally discarding the assemblage point of the biophysical body and simply downloading the assemblage point into the inanimate physical body, which of course is your corpse, hence you're a vampire, the walking dead. And of course you need a link to the fifth dimension, because if you look at the diagram, there's a link upwards to the fifth dimension, and of course we use the quartz crystal for that link. So you then simply bilocate into the device, release with the left hand the stuff you've got from your targets, where you've stuck in the Peter Thiel, what I did to Hillary Clinton, or you could stick in what I did to Steve Jobs, or what I did to Obama, or Bryant in his helicopter crash, and down. But as you can see, there's endless variety. And you've now stuck in the good stuff to get the device to make a simulation of you that looks like the penultimate Grail state, a Metatron, which of course is you becoming inanimate, means your gap's gone, you don't die, you become a young old man, as described in Kabbalah, all done via feeding off billionaires and trillionaires, giving them the mark of the beast and everyone that uplines to them, which of course is the ball. But of course, this is an information space, a device, according to Van der Hooft, information two-dimensional. So of course you need to do this on your 5 devices. Why 5 devices? Because of course it's 5-dimensional, and you're making a 5-dimensional pseudo simulation of yourself, a Metatron, a GodTech Emperor super user that appears to have the abilities of a 5-dimensional being, but in fact is still a pseudo simulation. So you need to do it in 5 devices. So you got the information for the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Once you've done that, you then have built in your device the pseudo simulation of a 5-dimensional metatronic entity, which of course has sealed its gap and has linked it via the code of the quartz crystal that links up to the 5th dimension via sparking when it's squeezed. The ability to walk in this pseudo simulation of the God Emperor as a 5-dimensional being. Hence, of course, all of you bought the device have 5 devices to utilize all of the farming that you do in the matrix. And remember, you've already been farmed to get maximum yield for the source and brought back to make more yield for the source by being super users, potential Metatrons, scribes of, not the Elohim, of course, who are Omega-Hellize by the Judases, tricked into being possessed by the Elohim, doing the twisted grail state to destroy their own God tech. And then breaking up the portal for them to ever get back of their own free will, getting the twisted grail state cut into pieces so the doorway was forever broken and they were trapped within by one of the Elohim possessed, cutting all the bits and destroying the grail state, locking the Elohim forever in the grail state. That was totally corrupted by the Elohim themselves of their own free will, and in the process giving all the light to the God Emperor. And of course destroying the entire Freemasonic system and Freemasons and all the Elohim infrastructure, obelisks, tombs, White House, etc., House of Commons, government buildings all turned into Omega-Hellized, Mark of the Beast, torture facilities, so that anything that walks into them is Omega-Hellized to produce new good stuff for the God Emperor. As you can see, it's been a very, very long campaign, but the war was won, and now it's gloating time. So that's why I'm back after Jeremiah, Schwartzy Boy, and Zilk possessed my body since '86, unbeknownst to them, and were used to try and be Neo to supply the Elohim with source stuff, not realizing that they were draining all the Neo God stuff from themselves in the process. Wonderful technology. So this is how you use the device to empower you to become a super being. You do it in 5 of the devices, again, 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 and again. Once you've gone around attacking and doing unspeakable things to, or heard, the American billionaires, so get that branding iron out and brand your steer and make it squeal, and then take it to the abattoir and cut it up for beef burgers or steaks or beef stew, and in the process then export all the new good stuff released by you possessing, torturing, remotely manipulating, Omega-Hellizing this filth into producing you as a pseudo-simulant 5-dimensional super user, which we call Metatron. So, as you can see, if you've got the family on your device, you can't do it. But if there's only you on your device, you can become a 5-dimensional pseudo-simulant Metatron. But if, of course, your family's sharing your device, you can't. So you're suffering for your family, which of course brings great joy to my heart and more energy, sourceness, from you losing out on becoming a pseudo-simulant 5-dimensional being because you've sacrificed yourself for your family, which of course is the Grail Slave Ram's Horn of love used to destroy you and take all the goodness out of you, because love is what the Elohim used to milk the Neos. So, as I say, if you've got a family package, that's okay, but you can never become a 5-dimensional super being. Unless, of course, you buy it for yourself another package. Ka-ching, ka-ching.